Everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing our midpoint of the year for my makeup inventory. So if you guys don't know what makeup inventory is, or what the purpose of it is, I started doing project panning back in 2013, and I continued on over each year. I tried to change it up as each year went by, just to kind of keep it interesting for myself. The year of 2016 is when I actually took makeup inventory numbers of each category of products that I owned, to keep me into perspective and keep me in check from overbuying beauty products. And getting products through PR for review, whatever the case is. I don't get as many as some bigger YouTubers do, but when I do get them, and I get maybe a few at a time, sometimes it can be overwhelming. So I test out the products, give my review on my channel, and then whatever I can't use for whatever reason, I kind of pass along to some of my family and friends. So with that said, I still purchase makeup, like any other girl who loves makeup would, or boy, but I try to keep my numbers as minimal as possible, or I'm trying to get them to as minimal as possible, because I did start quite high back in 2016 of January. If you guys have not seen my makeup count from last year, I have links down below on the project panning videos, and you can check those out. But today is going to be more for June 2017 midpoint check on my numbers, to see how I'm doing, where I need to work a little more category wise, and kind of go from there. I was thinking of doing a video on my collection as a whole, like, face, eyes, lips, body, skincare, hair care, that kind of stuff. Let me know down below if you're interested in a makeup collection video. It would be quite long, just like this one is going to be long. So if you're interested, let me know down below, and remember to thumbs this video up. With that said, I'm going to dive in. So if you haven't already, please grab yourself a snack, a drink, maybe a blanket, depending where you're watching this. Just get comfortable. Make sure you have some sort of beverage near you, because this may be a little bit more lengthy than most of my other videos would be. And I'm going to start off by category by category, letting you know what I started off with in January, and then kind of giving you my new number for June. I have my drink here, you guys. I'm drinking a Tim Hortons iced coffee. And for those of you who are wondering what my lip color is, it is Huda Beauty liquid lipstick in the shade Crush. Beautiful lip color, and the formulation to the Huda Beauty liquid lipsticks are probably one of my top favorites. I would say top 5 favorites. They're matte, so they're not transferable, and they are comfortable to wear. They don't crack, they don't roll up into balls. They're just really comfortable, and when, they are long lasting, but eventually they would kind of wear down a bit over a long period of time. And when they do wear down, they are very, it's not like choppy like some liquid lipstick formulas can be. So just letting you know. With that said, I'm going to dive into my categories, let you guys know, and then we're going to go from there. So I'm going to start. So my first category is foundations. In the beginning of the year, I started with 14, and I am currently at 14. The funny thing about foundations is that I did finish a couple within the first 6 months of the year, and then I ended up purchasing, I think, 1 or 2 foundations in the last month or so. So that's probably why my number in foundations haven't changed. They did drop by 2, but then I purchased 2 new brands that I wanted to try out. So my number remained the same, which is fine. I mean, 14 foundations is not too bad, because, I do have a range of, I can be oily in the summer and dry in the winter, so I have different foundations for different seasons. I would like to get down to maybe about 10 foundations, so that's my goal. We'll see how that goes, and if I can reach it in 6 months, because ideally, it takes a while to get through foundation, especially if you're using it, even though you're using it every day. Foundation is one of those things that do take quite a while to finish. So I'm going to aim for 10, but we'll see how that kind of pans out. Next category is BB and CC creams. I started off at 4 in the beginning of the year, and I'm at 2 right now. So I went down by 2. I did finish 2 up, which is great. To be honest, BB and CC creams I don't really use as often as I, used to in the very beginning. I would like to get down to just 1 and just leave it at 1, because I do enjoy a BB or CC cream in the summertime more so, or on days when I'm not doing heavy makeup. Like today I'm wearing a heavy face, but I'm not doing a really heavy eye, like I don't have a heavy eye look on today. Excuse me. So, my base on my face is quite heavy. I'm wearing a full coverage foundation from Makeup Forever, the HD foundation, powder, concealer, all that kind of great stuff, bronzer. So, I mean, on days when I don't wear too much of that, like the layered stuff, I do like a good BB cream. So, they're going down, so I'm glad. I would like to just keep it at 1 for now, but right now we're at 2. We'll work on it. It'll get done hopefully by the end of the year, but it might spill into next year as well. Concealers, I'm at 13, and I started off with 13. Concealers is another one that I find is a little bit harder to work through, because you're only covering a small section of your face with concealer. I do the Kim Kardashian upside down triangle, and sometimes I do like the middle of my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, and on my cupid's bow, and then on the top of my chin. But again, it's just one of those things where, you don't need to use a lot of concealer. And I've been working on my MAC. I have 2 MAC, what is it called? The MAC concealers in the pumps, like the glass tubes that are if you drop it, like they shatter. I think they're the Pro Longwear concealers. That's what they're called. I have 2 of those. I have one in NC25 and one in NW25. I'm working on the NC25 one because that's the one that's the oldest out of the 2, and like I could tell that it's gonna start to expire. So I have like that much left. So I'm trying to use that up before it officially goes bad. And again, with that concealer, you don't need to use a lot of it because it's so full coverage and thick that a tiny dot is good enough for each eye, and then you're good to go. So concealers are definitely something I'm trying to, as a category, I'm trying to work on continuously. But at this point, we're going to have to power through and see how it's going to go. Single face, you know what, and 2, just to touch point on the concealer category, I was at 13 and I'm still at 13. I'm just glad I haven't purchased, like made any more additional purchases, if you know what I mean. Like, I haven't bought any more for my number to just increase past that number. So I'm okay with that. Single face powders, I was at 7, I'm down to 6. Again, single face powders take a while to finish. Sometimes they take, 3 months. Sometimes they take 6 months. Some of them take 8 months, depending on how much powder is in the actual pan and how compressed it is in the pan. It can take a lot longer to finish. So I did go down 1, which I'm glad for that progress. Single bronzers, I was at 12, now I'm at 11. So I did finish a bronzer up in 6 months. And to be honest, again, bronzer is one of those products where you don't bronze up your entire face, like you would powder to set your face. You just bronze up the areas you want it to look that you're bronzed, or like you're contouring. So like, the corners of your forehead, sometimes the middle of your forehead, your cheekbone area, and then just around your jawline area. So, I mean, that takes a while, so for me to actually finish 1 already, it's good progress for me. So lip glosses is something that, in 2016, I decreased immensely. I think I had over like 20 lip glosses or something like that, and then I stayed at 10 lip glosses by the end of December of 2016. So January, I was at 10 lip glosses, and now I'm at 17, so I went up by 7. Reason being is I did pick up some lip glosses from newer brands that I find are a little more comfortable to wear on the lips, and that's one thing that I'm very picky about with lip glosses. I don't like them to be too sticky where my hair gets like stuck in my lips, especially if it's a windy day. And there were a couple that I was interested in that I ended up making those purchases on, and that's why my number did increase by at least 7, which is fine because I am trying to work on that category. I'm good for glosses now until I start to project pan and, work through those glosses that I have. I won't be purchasing any more lip glosses per se. Face primers, I was started at 4 face primers, and now I'm at 4 face primers. Now keep in mind that these categories are based on full-size products. Any sample size products that I do have are not included in these numbers, only because sample sizes don't take too long to get through. After a couple uses, usually they're done. So just so you guys know, as a general as a general FYI. So face primers, I'm currently at 4. I started off at 4. I haven't really gone down. Another product is, you know, for taking a long time to finish, because primer you only really need, you know, around the, sorry you guys, I'm flipping off. Around your areas where there's larger pores, where you get oily, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's not a huge area where you can actually use product up. Eye primers, these are including the Paint Pots by MAC. I started at 8. I'm down to 7. I did finish up one paint pot. It did, by the end of that paint pot, it did get crusty and dry, so I couldn't revive it, unfortunately. And I think it was Rubenesque by MAC, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. It was a beautiful paint pot. I would use it on its own, and it was just gorgeous. I'm actually thinking of repurchasing that, but I won't until I go down in primers a little bit more for my eyes. So eyeliners, I started off at 38, and that was a category that I was trying to work through the first 6 months. I did go down to 33. So I went down by 4 eyeliners. I can't remember the ones I finished. I know there was my Rimmel nude liner I finished. I also finished a black pencil liner. I also finished a Physicians Formula eye booster liner, and I had a backup of that too. So there's a couple that I know that I did finish, and they are now out of my collection. I did have a backup of the eye booster Physicians Formula liner, which is really good. So I'm currently using that. But at this stage, my numbers for eyeliners is at 33. I want to continue to go down in numbers for eyeliner. And keep in mind too that the eyeliners are not including like a gel liner, because when I think of an eyeliner, I think of an eyeliner pencil. I only own one or 2 gel liners in a different color. So, I mean, I don't consider that to be over like a lot of product for me to use in gel liner form. So lip liners, I started at 47 and I'm at 51. That is because I picked up a couple of extra Kylie lip kits in the last 2 months, I believe. So that went up a little bit, and then I did get a couple of pencil lip liners through Influenster, which kind of upped it a bit as well. So that's why my number had kind of moved up a little in, sorry guys, I have an itch. I'm human. That's why my lip liners did go up. But you know what? Lip liners I don't find that go bad very fast, and I prefer a MAC lip liner pencil only because they're more drier formula, and they do wear longer on the lips. So that's my personal preference, and they usually last a long time. So I'm not really worried about lip liners. It is a category that I'm still trying to work on to drop the number. So I'm hoping in time that that number will drop. So for mascara, I was at 12 mascaras. Now I'm at 11. I did go down by 1. Brow products, I was at 5. I went up to 8, but that's only because I purchased 6, 7. I purchased 3 brow products. So I had to buy a backup of my Anastasia brow gel because the one that I'm currently using is on its last limb. So that is the first that's the first one that caused my increase. Then I bought 2 brow pencils from the drugstore because I really wanted to try another drugstore brow pencil. I bought one from Maybelline and one from L'Oreal, and those 2 are what brought me to 8 brow products for June, which is fine because you know, pencil. I like to use a pencil for my brows more so than a pomade or a powder. I don't mind powder once in a while, but I prefer just an actual pencil to use. So that's just me though. And usually brow pencils I go through really quickly, so it's not something I know is going to go bad, if you guys know what I mean. Lip balms, I was at 22 in the beginning of the year, and now I'm at 19 for June. Lip balms, man, I got one in every section of my room, of my car, of my house, and my desk at work. They're laying around everywhere. So I'm at 19. I did go down by 3, right? 3? 20, 21, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, so I did go down by 3, which is great. I did finish a couple, and I think I gave one away, if I'm not mistaken. So that did bring my number down. So single blushes, I was at 25 in the beginning of the year. I'm at 24. Not because I finished one, but because I did give one away. Lipsticks, okay, this is a big one. So I started off, now lipsticks is combined with average lipsticks and liquid lipsticks. I put them in one category just to make things a little easier for me. So I was at 135 in January, and now I'm at 124, which is absolutely freaking phenomenal. I went down by 11 products. I did do a massive declutter in my lip products recently. just because there was a few items that were half used that went bad. I had to throw out, and then there was items that were just they were just sitting there not being used, and I had to give them away so that they would get some love elsewhere. So that's why I went down by 11. There was no way I actually finished 11 lip products in 6 months. That's impossible. I don't, unless you're a makeup artist and you're using them on people every day, there's no way that's going to happen. Single highlighters, I was at 20, and I'm still sitting at 20. The reason why I'm still sitting at 20 for single highlighters is because I haven't purchased a single highlighter in a long ass time. The only thing I made a purchase on recently, highlighter-wise, was the Nicole Guerrero Anastasia Glow Kit, which I don't consider a single highlighter because it is a palette, and then the Becca and Chrissy Teigen palette as well. So those two are the only highlighting products that I actually invested in the last 6 months, and I don't categorize them as single highlighters because they're categorized under my palettes, if you guys know what I mean. Nail polishes. So this is another big one. So in January, I started off at 213 polishes. I'm down to 169. That is because I went through my entire collection again, and I decluttered a good chunk of them. They needed to be decluttered because there was too many of the same color that I had, and it wouldn't make sense for me to keep them all. I can never go through that many to begin with, and then they were to go bad. A couple of them did go bad, and I did chuck those out, but the ones that were still good that I had, similar shades in other brands, I just moved out of my collection and handing over to my mom to give away to some of the girls at her work. So next up is body lotions. I was at 40, now I'm at 35. So I did go down by 5 products there. Now, I know I did finish 1 or 2 body lotions, but I did give away 3 body lotions to my family. So that number did go down, partial for me finishing and partial for me decluttering. Body wash, I was down to 9 in the beginning of the year, and now I'm at 6, so I'm glad that number is dropping. Face moisturizers, okay, so this one is a little bit... facial moisturizers and creams, I'm a little bit obsessed with. And the reason is because I am a big skincare lover. I'm all about my skincare. I do it in the morning, I do it at night. Doesn't matter what time of night. If I come home at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's getting done at 2 a.m. I don't care. I have to get my skincare routine done because I feel dirty when I don't take off my makeup. I feel gross. I feel congested. I treat my skin like a queen, and I know that sounds very bougie, but it's true. So I started off at 13 moisturizers in the beginning of the year, and now I'm at 14. Now, keep in mind, I did finish a few moisturizers in 6 months, and I did purchase at the VIB sale 3 moisturizers to replace those ones I finished. So I did go up 1, but at the same time, I made a purchase of 3 facial creams after I had finished a bunch of them as well. So that one kind of stayed the same. I was at 13, now I'm at 14. I only went up by 1, but at the same time I did finish a few, and then I replenished my stash. I love facial moisturizers. I always have backups because whenever I finish them, I always want something in the wing waiting for me to use. And I don't just use one moisturizer for day and night. I use different moisturizers for different reasons. So I have a nighttime one. I have a daytime one. I have a under the makeup moisturizer. I have a winter moisturizer. I have a summer moisturizer. So I do have a range of different types of moisturizers for different reasons. I know, I sound so bougie, you guys, but honestly, when you love makeup and beauty this much, this is how you just end up training yourself. It sounds bad, but what can I say? Facial cleansers and scrubs. So I was at 13, and now I'm at 17, which is unbelievable because I finished a crap ton of facial cleansers, and then I ended up picking up a couple of cleansers at some sales. So I think I bought 4 cleansers at the Estee Lauder and MAC sale. Then I bought another cleanser at Sephora, and then, they just started adding up. So I am at 17 cleansers and scrubs for the face. However, I do keep a cleanser in the shower and a cleanser on my sink, and I go through those like water anyways. So I'm not really worried. That number will drop anyways in a month or 2. So eye makeup remover. So I was at 4, now I'm at 7. Again, that's something I go through like water. Eye makeup remover, I pretty much finish 1 bottle of eye makeup remover every 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the size of the bottle. Now, the smaller size bottles that are like this big, I can go through in like maybe 2 to 3 weeks. The ones that are a little bigger, I can hit maybe a month. But those are something that I can go through fairly quickly, and I'm not worried of them going bad for whatever reason. So makeup remover wipes, I was at 9, now I'm at 10. Again, those are things that I use every day. I go through makeup remover wipes like water, so that's something that I always stock up in because I constantly am using makeup wipes in the morning, at nighttime, doesn't matter, I'm always using them. So that I'm not worried about either. So shampoo, I was at 8 in the beginning of the year. Now I'm at 6, which is great. That was one of the categories I was working on trying to bring down, and, you know, I did bring it down, so that's great. Conditioner, I was at 5, now I'm at 4. Hair masks, I was at 10, now I'm at 7. Hair serums, I was at 3, now I'm at 2. Hair leave-in conditioners, I was at 3 in January, I'm still at 3. Hair oils, I was at 3 in January, and I'm still at 3. Hair oils are really hard to go through, especially my Moroccan oil is like very thick too, so I like to use that more in the wintertime when my hair needs that extra moisture. In the summer, I don't use it as often because it is a heavy formula, so I like to use my Alterna dry oil in the summertime. But, you know, hair oils to leave at 3, I'm comfortable with that. 3 is good because I have one for winter, one for summer, and then I have an extra backup one for if I want to use it for treatments or whatnot. So I have hair heat protectant. I have 1. I started with 1 in January, and I still have 1 in June. Hairspray, I started at 2. I'm currently at 2. Hair mousse, I started with 2 in January. I'm currently at 2. Hair curl cream, I'm started with 1, and I'm currently at 1. So dry shampoo, I was at 6 in January, and I'm continuously at 6 now. You know, a lot of hair products, I either have dropped my number or I remain the same, just because some products take a lot longer to finish than others. Dry shampoo is something that I can go through fairly quickly, especially when I work out, you know, during the week and I don't wash my hair every single day. I do shower, but I just don't wash my hair every single day because then it would really kill my scalp skin. So yeah, like a lot of my hair products, I didn't increase. I just either stayed the same or dropped in number, which is a good sign. So body spray, I was at 4 in January. Now I'm at 3. Hand soaps, I was at 14, and now I'm at 9. So that is a great progress report there. Perfume, I was at 6. Now I'm at 5. Deodorant, I was at 7 in January, and I'm still at 7 now, which is fine because I usually keep a deodorant on my my vanity. I put one in my purse. I even leave one at my boyfriend's house, just, you know, you never know, just in case you need to freshen up a little or whatever. So, you know, between the 3, I do use them, but it takes me a little bit longer because I'm not using one consistently. I'm just using 3 at the same time. And at some point, I'm sure all 3 will start to finish at the same time, and then it'll drop. So palettes. So this category has included any highlighting palettes. So any strict highlighting palettes like the Anastasia Glow Kits, or the Becca Chrissy Teigen palette, because they have a, you know, it's a palette. It's got more than one product, more than one pan in a product. That's what I'm trying to say. More than one pan in a product? More than one panned product in the palette. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm just going to keep going. So palettes, I started off with 44, and now I'm at 45. Now, the thing with palettes is that I have to say, I did a lot of decluttering over the last 6 months as well. And in 2016, I started off with 67 palettes. So for me to only increase my palette by 1 to 44, because I dropped from 67, at the end of 2016, I went to 44. I did a lot of decluttering. I got rid of palettes I wasn't using, that I wasn't, you know, I had duplicated color shades and different palettes that I loved more. So I got rid of a lot of palettes. So I only went up by 1 palette from January 2017 to June 2017, because I did declutter quite a bit. And I made sure that if I was purchasing a palette, or I wanted to purchase a palette, I was taking a look at my current stash and saying, do I really need this palette? What can I get rid of in my palettes that can allow me to bring in a new palette? So I was really being very wary and, you know, questioning myself when I wanted something like that, just so that my number wouldn't increase significantly. And you know, it seemed to work for me because I only went up by 1 from January to now. So I'm totally happy with that. I'm not in any way worried about that category. Palettes is something that I don't think I'll ever finish a full palette unless it's a contour kit, but that's a whole other category in my list here. Or, I like to just give a lot of love to my palettes in general. So, if you guys don't know, every month I change out my palette that I'm using for the month just so that I can show love to the palettes that I do own, and that way I get my money's worth out of them by switching them out every month, getting my use out of them, that kind of thing. So, I don't think I'll ever finish a palette. I may hit pan on some palettes, which is great. I doubt I'll ever finish a full one, and I'm okay with that. We all have our, have our things. Like, I can't see myself committing to a one palette every year to finish, just because it's really hard to, it's hard for me to commit. Let's just say that. I can't commit to just one palette for the entire year to pan, because I like a lot of, you know, flavor, a lot of color, a lot of change in my makeup routine. So for me to pan a palette is just really not realistic for me. But that's okay. I'm good with my 45 right now. I know there's two palettes I want in the future, and I don't know if I'll get them. We'll see. If we do, I will keep you posted. So I have face serums and oils. So I was at 12, and now I'm down to 6. So I went down by half. I did finish them. Those were easy for me to finish because usually oils in the wintertime are great for my nighttime treatments. Serums are really easy to go through for me as well, especially if I use them during the day and at nighttime. So that one I'm not worried about. Eye creams, I was at 3 in January, currently at 3 now. Eye creams, again, takes slower to go through because it's a little less space that you can put product on. So face masks, I was at 30 face masks in January, believe it or not. And I'm currently at 25. So I went down by 5, which is good. It's good progress, I have to say. I did make a purchase of a couple of face masks recently, and it didn't really increase my number by much because my progress from 30 to 25, I still went down 5. I didn't really, go past that, what I started off with. I think I worry more when my number in June is a little higher than what I started in January, depending on my reasonings. Like if I had 30, let's say for example, I had 30 face masks in January, and then I had 35 in June, then yeah, I could say, I wasn't finishing products and I'm still buying more. But in this case, because I started with 30 and I'm at 25, and I still made a purchase of a couple masks, I'm not worried because I know the product is being used, I'm moving stuff out, I'm getting stuff done, I'm getting my money's worth basically. So I'm not really worried about that. It's a category that I continue to work on anyways, because face masks are like any skincare product. They do go bad quickly. You want to make sure you use them in a timely fashion before they, start to go extremely bad. Candles. So Bath & Body Works candles, I started off with 9 and I'm at 2 right now. So I'm really excited about that. I have 2 left, you guys, and once I get those 2 out, I'm done with Bath & Body Works candles. I do have a soy candle that I leave in front of my TV in my room. Once in a while, I'll light it, but I prefer my tea light candle with my peppermint oil to send to my room, just because it doesn't give me headaches, it relaxes me, it kind of, has a purpose. So, candles will be eliminated from my categories by the end of the year, so it's great news for me. Face illuminators, I was at 3, I'm down to 1. I got rid of 2. I don't use face illuminators very often, and usually they're used in the summertime. So I did get rid of 2 to 2 different people. One face illuminator had a more deeper skin tone undertone, so I gave that one away to someone who had a darker skin tone than me. And then my other face illuminator that I had that was medium, I gave to my sister-in-law, and she took that off my hands. Body scrubs, I went from 3 to 5, so I went up by 2. You know what? Body scrubs is something that I go through very quickly because I do full body scrubs. I do self-tan, and I do sit outside, read a book, and I get some color. I do wear sunscreen, so that is something that I always do to protect my skin, but at the same time, when you're wearing sunscreen, you still get a little, bronzed. And I'm okay with that. So body scrubs, I'm at 5. They'll go down because I constantly use body scrubs every time I shower, if not every time, every other time I shower, just to keep the dead skin off my body. And I do have I don't know what the condition is called, but on my arms I have these little tiny bumpies of what I like to call is like dead skin that cause like little bumps, and they look like little melia, or they look like little pimples. But what it is just a collection of dead skin that, you know, you need to exfoliate to get rid of to keep your skin smooth. So I do get that on my upper arms if I don't actually exfoliate regularly. So in the summertime, because I'm wearing more of you know, tank tops and whatnot, I do exfoliate my arms more regularly. I still do it in the winter as well, but just not as often as I would in the summer because my arms are more exposed with shirts, if you guys know what I mean. And my last final category is face contour palettes. I was at 4. I'm currently at 4. Now, face contour palettes is categorized with bronzer and highlighter in them. So I do have 4, and I'm still at 4. I did not go down. And I know I didn't go down because I honestly haven't really used face contour palettes in a while. I do believe the last contour palette I used and finished was the NYX contour palette, and I finished that at the end of last year. I thought it was a great starter contour palette, but wasn't my favorite for someone more in the professional aspect of makeup. If you are a starter in makeup and all that, then yes, I would definitely suggest it. But for me personally, I think I need a little more higher end, if you guys know what I mean. But yeah, so that was the last time I used one, excuse me, and I actually finished one up, which is the NYX one. So I do have 4 in the wing, and I will plan on using them. I'm just trying to get through some single powder and bronzer pans that are a little bit older for me to kind of, you know, move out. And then we'll go from there. So those were my numbers, you guys. I know this was a lengthy video. I'm very sorry. I wanted to film this. We're at the beginning of June, and I wanted to make sure that you guys saw my numbers. A few categories did increase instead of decrease, which I'm okay with because at the same time, I think of, you know, those are things I'm going to use up. So it's not like they're going to sit there and go bad. So, you know, my face moisturizers, my face cleansers, my makeup removing wipes, those categories I know I use on a daily basis, so it's not something I feel bad that I picked up a few more of just because I know they're going to get used. You know, so the categories that kind of didn't move, they kind of just stayed the same number. I'm still working through them. I still am working hard to get through them. Foundations is going to be really hard for me. I do want to pick up a few more foundations to test and tell you guys my thoughts, but what I'm doing right now is I'm stopping myself from making any more purchases for foundations specifically until I can bring my number down a little bit more. So for now, I'm going to stick with the foundations I have, get through those, and then we'll let you guys know my thoughts on those ones, and then, you know, move on into newer and better things. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you guys and your patience. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, give me a thumbs up if you want to see some sort of type of makeup collection. I can tell you right now, I don't have a very viable storage system for my makeup, only because I have very limited space. So, so yeah, I'm kind of, you know, my makeup collection is set up in a way where it works for me, easy access for me, for the time being until I get my own place, you know, because I still live at home. I'm lucky enough to still live at home until I get out into my own place one day. So anyways, let me know down below if you want to see the makeup collection. What is it that you guys are working on in your makeup collection that you're trying to bring the number down to? I would love to know what categories you're physically working on in your collection. Maybe we share the same categories that we're kind of struggling on, because I know that there's quite a few categories that I'm still struggling on. And, you know, it's always good for us to come on here and talk to each other about them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, everyone. Mwah.